Hello, and welcome to our channel. Today we will be presenting Parks, a set collection and worker placement game that uses a modular board. It was designed by 𝗎𝗓𝗡𝗞𝗦 and illustrated by the 59 Parks print series. The game was first published in 2019 by Keymaster Games. In Parks, players become hikers whose goal is to have the most points. They will get them from their visited parks, photos, and personal bonuses at the end of the game. It is a 1 to 5 player game, suitable for anyone over 10, and has a length of 30 to 60 minutes. Let's see what Parks is about. If you already know how to play Parks and you want to learn more about its expansion, check our video where we explain the new additions and changes to the original game. Let's begin with the game preparation. First, place the board in the center of the play area. Put the 2 token trays to the left and right, within reach of all players. You can find water, forest, sunshine, mountain, and wildlife tokens in both trays. In addition, there are also photographs. We will explain how to get all these resources later. Shuffle all the park cards and deal 3 face-up into the top slots of the board. Place the remaining deck on the park's deck area, next to them. Park cards contain a lot of information. We will focus on this area because it's the one that affects gameplay. The number on the left represents the points the card is worth at the end of the game. And the tokens next to it, the resources you will need if you want to buy it. The rest of the information are some interesting facts about the park and its location. So check it out to learn more about them. Next, shuffle all the gear cards and deal 3 face-up into the gear slots on the board. Place the remaining ones face down on this area. All gear cards have a sunshine cost. They all have ongoing abilities that will give you extra benefits at certain trail sites, or make it easier for you to visit some parks. Some of them also have an additional instant action activated one time immediately when you buy the card. This instant action is always indicated by this lightning symbol. Shuffle the season deck and place it onto the season area of the board. Reveal the topmost card as the first season card. These cards show the weather pattern for that season, and how the effects of some of the trail sites will change during the current round. Then, shuffle the canteen cards and deal 1 face-up to each player. Place the remaining canteen deck on this area of the board. Canteen cards have an area that can be filled with a water token in order to take its bonus action. In this case, the player will get a mountain token whenever they fill it. Shuffle the year deck and deal 2 cards to each player. Players choose one of the 2 as their personal bonus and discard the other. Year cards give you 2 or 3 extra points, depending on how well you accomplish their goals. These cards should remain face down until scored at the end of the game. Now we will be ready to create the first season's trail. Begin by placing the trailhead tile on the far left area below the board. Then, separate the 5 basic sites, the forest, the mountain, the valley, the ocean, and the vista, from the 4 advanced ones. Advanced sites have an asterisk to identify them. In 4 to 5 player games, add the waterfall tile to the basic sites. In games with less players, simply return it to the box. Next, shuffle the advanced tiles and add 1 to the basic sites, creating the trail deck. Leave the rest face down, to the left of the trailhead. Shuffle the trail deck and reveal 1 site at a time, moving from the right of the trailhead. These tiles will create the trail for the first season. Finally, place the trail end to the right of the last site. Check that it is not on the solo side. All players receive 2 hikers of the same color that should be placed onto the trailhead. They will also get a campfire matching their hiker color, which must be placed on the lit side in front of them. The player who most recently took a hike gets the first hiker marker. The player to the right of the starting player obtains the camera. The 4 seasons of the year make up the 4 rounds of the game. At the beginning of each season, look at the weather pattern on the season card on the board. Starting with the second trail site, place the indicated tokens from the weather pattern onto the trail. One per site, from left to right. Repeat the pattern down the trail, and stop at the trail end. Do not place a token there. Now you will be ready to start playing. The starting player selects one of their hikers, and moves it to a site of their choice, down the trail. Hikers can never move backwards. The first hiker to land on a site, which has a token from the weather pattern on it, takes it into their supply as a bonus. Then, they have to perform the site's action. Players must be able to take a site's action in order to visit it. In this site, they will receive a forest token. After taking the action, the next player clockwise takes a turn. Sites occupied by another hiker can't be visited, unless you use a campfire. In order to use it, you must flip over your campfire to the extinguished side. Then, you will be allowed to visit an already occupied site. However, if your campfire is already extinguished, you won't be able to visit a site with another hiker. Your campfire will immediately relight when one of your hikers reaches the trail end. When visiting the vista, you can draw a canteen card, or turn in 2 tokens to take a photo and gain the camera. Let's analyze these 2 actions. When you gain a canteen card, place it face up in front of you. To take the action of a canteen card, you need to fill it with a water token gained during that turn. Remember that you can't use the tokens from your supply. Once a canteen is filled, you can perform its bonus action. With this canteen card, you will get 2 sunshine tokens. If you gain several water tokens on a site, you can use them to fill more than 1 canteen card during that turn. Once a canteen is filled, the water token remains on it until the end of the season, and it can't be used in any other way. If instead of drawing a canteen card, you decide to take a photo, you will have to pay its cost first. Taking a photo costs 2 tokens, and you are free to decide which ones to use. In addition, you will also receive the camera from whoever currently has it. Photos are worth 1 point each at the end of the game. If you already have the camera, taking a photo only costs 1 token instead of 2. And at the end of the season, if you still have it, you may also take a photo at its reduced price. Some gear cards give players more photo opportunities outside of the vista. However, they do not give them the camera. When one of your hikers arrives at the trail end site, relight your campfire if it is extinguished. And choose one of the available actions by placing your hiker in the farthest right available slot of that area. There are 3 possible actions here. In this area, you can reserve a park. You can choose one of the 3 available parks on the board, or draw the card on the top of the park deck. Then, place the chosen card face up horizontally in front of you. This way, you will remember that the park is reserved, but not visited. This action is particularly useful to save a park you want, when you still don't have enough resources to buy it. If the reserved park was won from a board slot, reveal a new card from the deck to refill the empty slot. Any number of players may reserve parks, but the first one to place their hiker there also gains the first hiker marker as a benefit. Buying gear is another action you can perform at the trail end. To do it, you have to place your hiker on the buy gear area. This will allow you to select one of the 3 available gear cards on the board. Once you have turned in sunshine equal to its cost, place the gear acquired face up in front of you. Now, you can benefit from the effect of the card whenever you need it. In games with 3 or less players, the 4+ slot is not used. Therefore, the first player to buy gear must place their hiker on the next available slot to get a sunshine discount on their gear purchase. In games with 4 or 5 players, the 4+ slot is also available, so the first 2 hikers to choose this option will receive a sunshine discount. Visiting a park is the last option available at the trail's end. You can choose one of the 3 available parks on the board, or one you have previously reserved. Pay its cost by turning in the required tokens back to the supply, and place the park card vertically in your area to distinguish it from the reserved parks. Visited parks are stacked showing their resources and points like this. Whenever a park is visited on the board, reveal a new card from the deck to fill the empty slot. Like the other two actions, any number of hikers can occupy the visit a park area. But this time, there's no benefit for being the first one to do it. Once your two hikers have reached the trail end, perform one of the three actions, and your turn will be over. The rest of the players will continue playing until only one hiker is left on the trail. Then, the player must move the hiker to the trail end and choose an action there. This will mark the end of the season. Remember that the player with the camera may take a photo paying its reduced price. To start the following season, players must follow these easy steps. First, empty all the canteen cards and return the water tokens to the general supply. Next, reset all the hikers back to the trailhead. Pick up all the trail sites, except for the trailhead and the trail end. Add an additional advanced site, shuffle all of them, and create the trail for the next season. This trail will be one site longer than the previous one. Then, put the previous season card on the bottom of the season deck, and reveal a new one from the top of the deck. Apply the weather pattern, placing the corresponding tokens on the trail. The player with the first hiker marker takes the first turn of the new season. Repeat this process the following seasons. When the fourth season ends, the game will be over. All players reveal the year card and score victory points. First, add up all the points from your visited parks. Of course, reserved parks are not taken into account. Each photo taken during the game is worth 1 point. Then, check your personal bonus from the year card. This card gives you 2 points if your visited parks have at least 6 water tokens, and you have taken at least 3 photos during the game. Or 3 points if there are 10 water tokens, and you have 5 or more photos in your collection. This time, you will only score 2 points because your cards have 7 water symbols, and you have a total of 4 photographs. Finally, the first hiker marker gives an additional point to the player who has it. The player with the most points at the end of the year is the winner of parks. If tied, the win goes to the player who visited the most parks. If still drawn, the win is shared. The components of the game are simply eye-catching. The enamel first hiker marker is one of the best quality starting player markers we've ever seen. The insert allows you to store things neatly. However, if you sleeve the cards, you won't be able to use it. The illustrations and color schemes used in this game are top-notch. The 59 Parks print series artists have done a wonderful job. Despite being different, all of them seem to be part of the same group, and it's great to see the different art styles. Although the rulebook might seem a little bit chaotic and some of the information could have been arranged better, the rules are quite easy to learn, and everything is explained really well on the tiles and cards. Once you learn how to play, you won't have trouble remembering the rules in the future. The effects of season cards will make the actions of some trail tiles even better, many times resulting in all the players wanting to visit that site. The weather pattern might also affect your strategy when it comes to gathering tokens. In addition, the modular board will always change the way the trail looks and the actions you can perform. For all of these reasons, you will always follow a different strategy when you play this game. What do you think about parks? We hope to read your comments, and remember, if you have enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like it. To be up to date with our latest videos, subscribe to the channel and click the bell. We will continue playing in our next video.